Have you ever noticed when a relationship ends, things often get a little ugly? A romantic breakup, a friendship falling apart, a business partnership gone wrong. Someone feels let down, someone feels wronged, someone starts bringing up the past. And sometimes the people who were once closest end up parting in the worst way. But actually, it is normal because a relationship ending is essentially a kind of loss. And when people face loss, they naturally feel resentment, complaints, anger. Someone even wants to blame someone else. It doesn't mean someone's character suddenly got worse. It's just a very human reaction. And there's another pattern that's even more common. The more someone feels the guilt, the stronger the reaction tends to be. Because giving creates a kind of invisible ladder in the mind. Time, energy, emotion, all quietly recorded. When the relationship ends, the ladder has nowhere to settle, and the gap turns into emotion. Bring up all the grievances, harsh words. Most of the time, it's not hatred. It's just a willingness to accept the loss. The Chinese noticed this pattern long ago, and they put into one phrase, 分手见人品. It's not just about romantic breakups, a friendship falling apart, a business partnership dissolving, any relationship reaching its end. This phrase applies to all of them. What it's really for is this. After someone loses something, how much restraint and dignity can they still hold on to? In Chinese history, Su Shi and Zhang Dun are a classic example. As young men, they were close friends. They traveled together, shared a deep bond. But their political views split apart. When Zhang Dun rose to power, he had Su Shi demoted again and again, all the way to Hainan Island. They showed something important. The intense emotion that explodes when a relationship breaks down, often not just about present conflicts. The built-up frustration that finally found an outlet. But Zhang Dun's story didn't end there. When Emperor Huizong came to power, the political winds shifted again. When Zhang Dun had crushed his political enemies, became the very evidence used against him. He was moved from the capital, spent his final years in exile, and died there. Wang Anshi and Sima Guang give us a very different example. They were on opposite sides politically. The debate over Wang Anshi's reform went on for decades. Their differences were almost impossible to bridge. But after Wang Anshi died, Sima Guang still submitted a memorial to the emperor, asking that Wang Anshi's title be preserved. He said his writings and his integrity are worth of being a model for future generations. This was shocked the court, because Sima Guang was one of the strongest voices against the reforms. Yet after his political rival passed away, he still publicly defended the man's character. In his view, opposing someone's position and respecting their character were two things that could coexist. So, why does Chinese culture place such importance on how a relationship ends? It's not just because the circles are small and you might meet again. The Chinese came to realize that how you end a relationship is actually a part of your values. Because Chinese culture has always cared deeply about one thing, being consistent. how you treat someone when things are good, and how you treat them after the relationship ends. In the Chinese view, these are two sides of the same things. If the gap between them is too large, it suggests your character isn't as stable as it seems. Your respect for someone shouldn't depend on whether the relationship still exists. A relationship involves two people, but your respect is yours so long. Don't let someone else leaving making you lose yourself. This is why Chinese culture has always valued ending well. Not just so you can work together again someday, but because if a relationship reached its end, it means it was real. Ending well is a way of honoring what that relationship once was. When a relationship begins, everyone is managing their image. When a relationship ends, that's when character is truly tested. So the Chinese say, 分手见人品. What it really want to say is not how gentle someone is when things are going well, but how much respect and restraint they can still hold on to when it's over. Because relationships between people will end, but the way you handle them will slowly become who you are. And perhaps this is exactly why the Chinese have always emphasized ending well. Because sometimes how a person lives says more about them than how they arrived.